Good day everyone, I am Chris Mark Estrada Cautivar and I am the first reporter for Group 1. And I will tackle about classification of fuels. There are two classification of fuels, the natural fuels and the artificial or prepared fuels. It was classified based on their occurrence. Natural fuels occur in the nature and they are also called primary fuels, whereas artificial fuels are prepared by further processing of primary fuels and they are also secondary fuels. That's all, thank you.
We will tackle the characteristic of a good fuel. But first, let me tell you what is the meaning of gaseous fuels. Gaseous fuels are generally easier to handle and burn than a liquid or solid fuels. Gaseous fossil fuels include natural gas, primarily methane and ethane, and liquefied petroleum gases or LPGs. Primarily, propane and butane, gaseous man-made or artificial fuels are mostly derived from liquid or solid fossil fuels. There's a lot of characteristic of a good fuels, but this three is the most important. First, the characteristic of a good fuel as follow. It should be a high calorific value. Then the second one, it should be environmentally friendly and burn completely without leaving any solid or gaseous residue. The third one, it should be cheap and readily available. Then that's all.
The calorific value of a fuel is a measure of its energy content and refers to the amount of heat energy released during complete combustion. It is typically expressed in kilojoules per kilogram for solid and liquid fuels, and kilojoules per cubic meter for gaseous fuels. These are two types of calorific values: gross calorific value and net calorific value, with NCV excluding the heat used to vaporize water formed during combustion. The calorific value can be determined theoretically or experimentally using a bump calorimeter.
Solid fuel. Solid fuel refers to various forms of solid materials that can be burned to release energy, providing heat and light through the process of combustion. Solid fuels can be contrasted with liquid fuels and gaseous fuels. Solid fuel is known to be which fuel that is solid in nature. Examples are wood, coal, coke, and etc. We use coal in factories or industries as fuel. Wood is used as domestic fuel mainly for cooking purposes in every household. A solid fuel rocket has a fuel and oxidant mixed together as fine powders and then press it into a solid cake. Once it has been lit, it will carry on burning until it uses up. In a black powder rocket, the fuel is carbon and the oxidant potassium nitrate. Solid fuel is a dense and burns quite quickly, generating crossover in a short time. Solid fuels can remain in a storage for an extended period without degrading or breaking down, a common issue with a liquid fuel.
Types of coal or selection of coal. Coal is classified into main types or ranks: anthracite, bituminous, subbituminous, and lignite. The ranking depends on the types and amounts of carbon the coal contains and on the amount of heat energy the coal can produce. The rank of a coal deposit is determined by the amount of pressure and heat that acted on the plants over time. Anthracite contains 86% to 97% carbon and generally has the highest heating value of all ranks of coal. Anthracite accounted for less than 1% of the coal mined in the United States in 2021. All of the anthracite mines in the United States are in northeastern Pennsylvania. In the United States, anthracite is mainly used by the metals industry. Bituminous coals contains 45% to 86% carbon. Bituminous coal in the United States is between 100 million and 300 million years old. Bituminous coal is the most abundant rank of coal found in the United States, and it accounted for about 45% of total U.S. coal production in 2021. Bituminous coal is used to generate electricity and is an important fuel and raw material for making coking coal or used in the iron and steel industry. Bituminous coal was produced in at least 16 states in 2021. Five states accounted for about 78% of total bituminous production: West Virginia 30%, Pennsylvania 16%, Illinois 14%, Kentucky 10%, and Indiana 7%. The third one is bituminous coal typically contains 35% to 45% carbon, and it has a lower heating value than bituminous coal. Most of bituminous coal in the United States is at least 100 million years old. About 46% of total U.S. coal production in 2021 was bituminous, and about 88% was produced in Wyoming and 8% in Montana. The remainder was produced in Alaska, Colorado, and New Mexico. Last one is lignite. Contains 25% to 35% carbon and has the lowest energy content of coal ranks. Lignite coal deposits tend to be relatively young and were not subject to extreme heat or pressure. Lignite is crumbly, has high moisture content, which contributes to its low heating value. Lignite accounted for 8% of total U.S. coal production in 2021. About 56% was mined in North Dakota and about 36% was mined in Texas. The other 8% was produced in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Montana. Lignite is mostly used to generate electricity. A facility in North Dakota also converts lignite to synthetic natural gas that is sent in natural gas pipelines to consumers in the eastern United States.
So, what is light fuel? Light fuel typically refers to easily combustible materials that are used for energy, such as gasoline or other fuels with a low density and high energy content. It is often associated with substances that ignite easily and burn rapidly.
Everyone, today we're going to tackle the gaseous fuels and the types of gaseous fuels. So first, let's define the gaseous fuels to further understand. So gaseous fuels found in nature are manufactured in gaseous state. They are mostly composed of hydrocarbon, carbon monoxide, hydrogen, and etc. So first, we have the types of gaseous fuels. It is the natural gas. So what is a natural gas? So natural gas is a fossil fuel composed mainly of methane. It is formed underground from the remains of ancient plants and animals undergoing heat and pressure over millions of years. It is a versatile energy source used for heating, electricity generation, and as a fuel for vehicles. So the second one is the coal gas. What is a coal gas? Coal gas is a type of gas obtained from the destructive distillation of coal. This process involves heating coal in the absence of air to break down into the various components, including gases. The resulting gas mixture can include hydrogen, methane, carbon monoxide, and other gases. In the past, coal gas was widely used for lighting and heating, particularly in urban areas, before natural gas became a more common energy source. The composition of coal gas can vary depending on the type of coal gas used and the distillation process.
Let's now discuss the other types of gaseous fuels: the oil gas, the producer gas, and the water gas. Oil gas refers to the gases that are associated with or produced from oil extraction or refining processes. Okay, and this gas, known as associated gas, is released during the oil extraction process. It can be separated from the oil and used as a fuel or processed into various products. Additionally, oil gas can also refer to synthetic natural gas or SNG, which is produced by converting coal, biomass, or other carbon-based materials into gas mixture that resembles natural gas. For example, we have the LPG, or the liquefied petroleum gas. LPG is derived from crude oil, refining, or natural gas processing. It is a mixture of hydrocarbon gases, primarily propane and butane. It is commonly used as a fuel for heating and cooking. We also have here producer gas. Producer gas refers to a type of gas that is produced by heating solid carbon-based materials such as coal or biomass in the absence of oxygen. The process known as gasification allows for the conversion of solid carbon-based materials into a gaseous form, converts the solid materials into a mixture of gases and the other combustible gases. Producer gas has been historically used as a fuel in gas lamps and engines, and it continues to be utilized in certain industries and applications today. Lastly, we have water gas. Water gas refers to a mixture of gases produced by reacting steam with carbon-based materials such as coal or coke at high temperature. Water gas is a gas mixture produced by reacting steam with carbon-based materials, and it can be used as a fuel or as a source of hydrogen in industrial applications. The process known as water gasification or steam reforming results in the production of a gas mixture primarily composed of carbon monoxide CO and a hydrogen H2O. Water gas is used as a fuel and as a feedstock for various industrial processes. It can be burned directly for heating, and water gas has been historically used for lighting and heating purposes.
Hi everyone. Now we are talking about comparative assessment of fuel. When figuring out which fuel is best suited for specific uses, it's essential to compare them using a few key factors. These are the factors for comparative assessment of fuel. First, calorific value. Compare how much heat different fuels produce. For example, if you are deciding between wood and natural gas usually gives off more heat, making it better for energy production. Second, availability. Look at how easy it is to get the fuel and how much of it is around. If an area has a lot of coal, it might be a better choice than fuels that are harder to find, like natural gas. Third, cost. Think about how much money each fuel option will set you back. While eco-friendly options might be good for the environment, they can be pricier to set up compared to the traditional choices like coal. Fourth, environmental impact. Think about how each fuel affects nature. Consider the things it releases into the air. And lastly, ease of handling. Look at how practical it is to use each fuel. For example, diesel is known for being easy to store and transport, which makes it a favorite for certain uses. By looking at this thing, we can understand this fuel is best for a job based on what we need and what works well for our situation.